So, we're talking about instruction this morning. That's what last week the church worships. And for wife, we have the I now, and we instruct. So, how long were you? You were a public school teacher, I think.
Yes, I was a public school teacher in the San Antonio Independent School District. I taught urban, inner city, downtown, gang family members for all the 32 years that I was teaching. And God put me on this earth. Thank you. Somebody's applauding for the public school teachers. Thank y'all. I'm sorry, I didn't ask for that, didn't I? But anyway, for 32 years, I taught 5th grade. I taught music also, but I taught 5th grade. And God put me on this earth to teach that group because every morning I got to pray over their desks before they came in there. And believe me, they needed praying over. And some years I had up to 39 kids in the classroom. But God put me on this earth to teach.
Amen, amen. Yes, so thank you so much for that. Now, once you came down here, your teaching wasn't done, though, because you have been teaching Sunday school. So tell us about that and what teaching the Bible means to you.
Oh, my goodness. When I came down here, and at that time we had what was called the single adults class, and I was divorced by then. And so I was in that class, and oh, my goodness, had some wonderful teachers. Nancy Sperry and was the first one, and then Phyllis Gibson, who was an awesome teacher, and then Mary Eubank was an awesome teacher, and Mary had her doctorate degree in education, and here she was teaching, and then when she left, she married Bill Brazelton from this church, and they moved to West Texas, and I knew they were going to ask me to take that class over because I was the loudest one in the class, and I talked all the time. And yeah, they did, and I said, no, because you know what? Teaching 5th grade, the subjects that I knew in education, and teaching adults the Bible, that was a big responsibility. I said, nope, I won't do it. I won't be the only one. I won't be the only one. And then so somebody in the class said, well, maybe we could just take turns, because nobody would agree to take the whole class every Sunday. And so Katana Painter asked, she said, okay, if we take turns teaching, how many of you would be willing to teach? And 6 hands went up. 6 hands went up. And so we agreed that we would take, that there would be 6 of us that would take turns teaching. So that in 1 quarter, there are 13 lessons. So each one of us teaches 2 lessons. And then last year started, and it's happened again today, one other person, because there are 13 lessons, one other person took that final lesson, and so now we have 7 that are teaching, and God is leading that group of teachers in that classroom.
Amen, amen. That's wonderful. So tell me, Jan, what does 2BC mean to you?
I grew up in this church. My father died when I was 9 years old, and we moved to Corpus Christi because my mother's brother lived here, and my mother had a 9-year-old, an 11-year-old, and a 13-year-old to take care of. So we moved down to Corpus and joined Second Baptist Church. And one of my teachers was Sue Fondren, right there, Sue and Jerry Fondren, Benny Jane and Jimmy Arnold, eventually Bobby and Joanne Rowley, Vivian Eubank. Those were my teachers. And you know what? I grew up through high school and through college. I came to know the Bible through those people. And you know what? On those teachers, on New Year's Eve, you know what they had us as high school students doing? We were laying prostrate on the floor with our hands over our heads, praying that God would lead us into the next year, what he wanted us to do as a youth group. And so I learned to be the Christian person I am today from the teachers that I had at Second Baptist Church. I am so grateful for what God gave me.
Amen, amen. Well, thank you so much, Jan, for sharing with us this morning.